I woke up at 3:17 a.m., gasping like a man drowning on dry land. My own fingers were clawing at my throat, trying to rip out the words I could no longer swallow. I just killed my father, and he's still breathing. My name is Adrian King. I'm 39 years old. By day, I'm the surgeon who stands between patients and eternity. Calm, precise, untouchable. But that night, I finally murdered the version of myself that had been bleeding out for years. On the surface, my life looked perfect. I escaped the decaying steel town I grew up in. I became the doctor. I had the quiet house with the maple trees in the backyard, the wife who worked night shifts in the ER, and two little girls who still believed their father was a hero who could fix anything broken. But the cracks were already there. Sarah saw them before I did. She'd come home smelling of hospital soap and bone-deep exhaustion, her eyes scanning my face like she was reading a scan. "You're vanishing, Adrian," she whispered one night. "And they're the ones holding the knife." My father, Victor, was the kind of man whose voice could grind steel and whose pride had been forged in factory fires. My mother, Eleanor, floated through life like smoke, always smoothing things over, always making excuses. My brother Jasper and his wife treated every crisis like my personal emergency fund. I was the success, the one who got out, and that single fact made me their ATM with a heartbeat. It started small, a few thousand here, a signature there. Family helps family, Victor would say, his eyes gleaming with that quiet hunger. Then came a big one. I was dead on my feet after a 30-hour shift, scrubs still stiff with dried sweat, when my phone rang. His voice rolled through like warm poison. "Son, I found the truck of my dreams. Just need your name on the papers. I'll handle everything. You won't feel a thing." That night, Sarah stood in our kitchen with her arms folded, voice low and trembling. "Keep giving them pieces of yourself, and one day there'll be nothing left for me or the girls." The guilt was crushing. I signed anyway. 18 months later, I had quietly bled out nearly $80,000 into a truck I had never touched, never smelled, never even seen. Every time I tried to stop, the guilt trips flowed like oil. Holidays came. Victor demanded a proper Christmas. Luxury food, flights, gifts. My own daughters got cheap plastic toys and a pair of Victor's old grease-stained work boots. My youngest held them up, wrinkled her nose, and whispered, "Daddy, they smell like angry." Something inside me finally went ice cold. Every yes I'd ever given felt like another blade between my ribs. I was teaching my girls that love means letting people drain you until you're hollow. I couldn't breathe anymore. So on a cold January morning, between two surgeries, my hands shaking, I opened the banking app and killed the autopay with one tap. 2 weeks later, the storm exploded. Missed calls, screaming voicemails. Victor's voice detonating through the speaker. "What the hell have you done?" I answered, voice flat as a scalpel. "I stopped paying for a life I never wanted. I stopped being your walking wallet." But that wasn't the worst part. Later that night, my mother called, crying. "How could you abandon your own blood? Jasper's kids are asking why Uncle Adrian doesn't love them anymore." And in that moment, the real truth hit me like a freight train. They never loved me. They loved what they could squeeze out of me. Every gift, every loan, every guilt trip had only trained them. And worst of all, it had started training my own daughters to see family as nothing more than extraction. The late notices are piling up. My credit is burning. The truck will be repossessed. I don't care. Some nights, I still lie awake, staring at the ceiling, the silence heavier than any scream. Blood is supposed to be thicker than water. But is it thicker than self-respect? Thicker than protecting the people who actually need you? If it were you, if your own family only reached for you when they needed to drain something, would you have cut the cord? Would you finally choose yourself? Tell me in the comments. Because some mornings, I still don't know if I'm the villain in their story, or the first one brave enough to stop volunteering as their sacrifice.